All right, guys. So now let's talk about that how we can actually go and define the sheets and how we can go and work with the Excel cells. Okay. I also like to tell you one update. I know I have told you that how we can define the sheets. I guess we have covered it, but you see there is always a depreciation warning which comes. So as per the new syntax, that warning we can ignore that. We can prevent that warning to keep coming on our system. So let's talk about this. So first of all, this is the file I'm going to use. Okay, and as I said that you can create your own these very simple files as well in case if you don't find these files in the download section. Okay, but yes, I have made it sure that all the important files should be there, not like these dummy ones. Okay, so let's go to the actually okay, so let's go to this window. I just want to show you both the windows here simultaneously. uh, you see, this is the file which we are opening, right? EMEA data. Now if I have to go in the stats sheet and let's say on the A10 I want to print something, right? I want to print something. So first of all, we know that how we can define the sheet. I've already uh, open the file, as you can see, using the OpenPyXL library, right? So define the sheet. So we can clearly define the sheet like this. We can say ws1 equals to wb and the get sheet name, and you can write here the sheet name, isn't it? Right? This is how you can write it. Make sense? Now if I try to run this, let me first of all see that if we go and run this, we should be able to see the sheet name, right? So you can see I have got the sheet name here, and you have also seen that there is an error which comes, which is this, the depreciation. Okay, the call to depreciate. And I told you that this basically warning means that this syntax may not be compatible with the upcoming versions, right? Now we can stop using this syntax if we want. Instead of this, what I can do, I can just go and simply write here WB, and in the square brackets you just go and write the sheet name. I think this is more easier, right? This is much easier than the previous syntax. So if I simply go and write the name of the sheet, make sure that you write this in the correct case. There should not be any capital or small issue. You see that there's no error coming. So going forward, if we have to go and address any sheet, we have to define any sheet, we will use this syntax. Fantastic. Right, now here comes the important part. So that this is okay. I'm just going to delete this. You see that now this is a new thing for us, that what if I have to actually go and pick one specific cell in Excel, I want to write the data over there, right? So it's very easy that you already have defined the data, and you just go and write the name of the cell, and let's say I go and write 100. Okay, I'm going to write this, and then later on, as you know, that I'm going to save the file, and I'm going to actually close the file. While saving the data, I'm simply going to write this path here. So let's close this Excel file. Let me just double click here now. Let's just go and maximize this. Yeah, and I'm just going to close this Excel file. Okay, so if I run this, and now let the code successfully run first. Yes, so now let's go to the folder, and let me check the file here. Let's see that. Yeah, so if you see here that 100 is there, this 100 is there. Make sense, right? So it means that now any point in time, if you want to write the data, if you want to just pick once any specific cell, you can do that. It's very easy, right? Like for example, what I want to do is that I want to go and write here in this cell. This is another sheet. Let's say I want to go and write here the value which is coming from, let's say this called B2 cell, right? So how we can do that? So first of all, what we do is I'll simply go and comment this. Okay, by the way, I shouldn't be overwriting anything. I just go and put this here A10. Yeah, so you see that there's a sheet already we have defined, and then there's another sheet. I'm going to name this as WB, and that's going to be actually, let's say, stats2. I think that's the name of our file. Let's go and check. Yeah, stats2. S is capital. So here I want to go and in the simple, we just go and say that I want to go and let's say pick the A10, and I want to say that in the A10, the value which should come from the another sheet, which is WS1, it should pick the value called, let's say, P2, for example. Okay, I mean, whatever said. So here we would like to see something. We would like to go and pick this Willy, which is P2. Okay, I'm going to close this, and now let's go and run this. And I'm just going to put here this, the value actually equals to the value of this. Okay, so let me run the code. You see the process is finished, and let's open the file. Let's go here, and you can see that we have got the value here, Willy, which is coming from this. So it means that now you can connect the cells as well. Similarly, I mean, you will learn that how we can connect the formulas as well, everything, I mean. Okay, so let's go back here. So please make sure that I have seen that when you are trying to use the values from other cells, if I simply go and run this in this way, let me close the file first. Let's just close the file and I run the program. See this, you will get the error that the value section, the formatting is not there. Okay, so that's why I'm simply going to say that I should go and write this the dot value. Okay, so now you will go and find the value there. Basically, the place where you are writing where you want the value, obviously that always goes to the left side of equals to. We all already know this, right? The value we want to evaluate. And also, if you see, I am not putting here dot value because here the value should come, but from where, that's basically that particular part, you make sure that it should be a value, or otherwise you can write here also dot value. That's perfectly fine. Okay, so if we go and run this again, there will be no problem, right? Look at this, this is how it is. Yeah, so now guys, how we are supposed to work with the range, this is something also I like to share, because since we are talking about the cells, we are talking about the single cells, right? So again, it's very easy. Suppose let me show you, you have seen this sheet called stats, right? Now I say that this is my range. Let's create this range object, and then we will simply go and write that I want to go and pick the, let's say, the value from A1 colon A10, for example. So this is where actually you have defined the range. So now when the code is going to work, if you go and use this range object anywhere, please make sure, remember this point actually, that it's actually going to loop through these all cells one by one, A1, A2, A3, A4, right? So please make sure when you're writing this cell address, it should be the correct one. Okay, and also see the way we have written this, A1 colon A10. If you know me from my VBA, many of you have joined here. I know that you have taken the training from VBA, but anyone who doesn't know VBA, never have seen that, there also we have this concept. So if I have to go and write, let's say, the sheet name, there we go and use the sort of this syntax, and this is how we write over there. And just for your knowledge, if you're not interested, don't make yourself confused with this. I'm just I'm just sharing, right? So there we actually go and define, and of course we use the set word as well in VBA, but you see that's why I say that they look, the syntax can be a bit different, but overall the fundamentals remain the same. So that's why learning Python, and after learning Python, if you want to just go and try your luck in VBA or vice versa, it's going to be very simple for you. Okay, anyways, so now if I want to run the loop here, so I can say for my cell in this range, and I'm going to print here the value called my cell. Now generally, because I'm a VBA person, I'm a VBA programmer, I've been I told you in the initial stage also that I've been doing the VBA from last, I think, teaching VBA from 10 years, and more than that I have experience of working of using VBA in my office projects, right, before taking this as a full-time trainer, the job, the profession actually. So generally any VBA guy would see here, imagine here that if I run this code, then possibly the values between A1 to A10 will all be printed here. And this is what, when I was learning, I also had the same sort of the idea. But you see, to your surprise, when you run this, actually you don't get the values, you get here the cell address. you get the cell address, right? And this is where I find this Python a little complicated, I think. Though I love this language, you know that it is in many cases it's just a syntax which does the job. You really don't have to write big codes, right? But you know, a person like me never afraid of writing big codes. I just love all this, right? So I'm saying that generally in VBA we just see the values. It's very direct. But here, you know, you don't, if you have to, let's say, access all those values in that range, this is not how you're going to do it. Okay, because this is actually the cell address which this is going to give you. So you will then have to go inside these address, these locations, and then that is how you will be able to actually go and access, retrieve the values. So what you have to do is, because now this my cell actually is your A1, A2, these are those locations, right? So I'm just going to write here that for cell, anything you can write, right, in my cell. And now I will simply go and write here the value called this the cell. Okay, so what is going to happen, you will have the A1. When you are in the A1 here, this loop will go in the A1 and prints this value called cell. Okay, so if I simply go and run this, let's see that we can see the cell address, we can see the cell value as well at the same time, you know. So let's go and see that how it is going to run. So there we go. So 1 second, I'll just go and put here the cell value. Actually, let me run this code again. Yeah, so now you see that cell value was the important part. Look at this now. So employee ID is there, and then the 34 is there in the A2 cell. You know, you have already seen this sheet. If you just want to have a look on this sheet, because when you go and create your dummy sheet, I think because you may not have this sheet available on your course, so let me just clear the, in case if any confusion is there. So there we go. So you see that this is how your data is going to look like. So let's go up. Yeah, so for the first thing is, which is in the A1 is employee ID, and then 34, and then 67, you see 89, 76, and so on. And of course, the rest of the values are showing none. So you know that why it is showing none, isn't it? So this is also something very important, because if you have to do the Excel automation, you should know that how actually we can go inside the loop and we can pick the cells, because maybe you want to use these cells somewhere else, you want to copy and paste the cells somewhere else, you know. So this is something, I mean, we will definitely go and do it. But I hope now you understand that how actually the, if you have to work with a range, not just a particular cell like this, you know, how you can go and run these loops and work with these ranges. Now, similarly, guys, like we use this reference, you know, we use this WS1 A10 equals to 100, and then you have seen that how we have used the range word. There's another way of writing this. You can also go and use the cell command. Okay, so when you use the cell command, cell actually uses the row and the parameter and the column parameters. So you have to provide the row and you have to provide the column, and these are supposed to be integer. Okay, so basically if you say that, okay, row number is 10, and let's say the column is let's say 2, which means obviously we are targeting the B10, right? And I go and say that, okay, good morning, for example, like this. Let me close the file. Actually, make sure you use the dot value, okay, otherwise you may not get the results. So I go and run this, open this file. Let's see that we have the output here. So yeah, so you can see that we have got the value here, right? And same way, if I have to pick, let's say maybe in this cell 11th row, can we do that using the, again, the cells command? So I simply go and copy this and I paste this here, and I say that I want to actually go in the sheet 2 actually, and again in the same cell, let's in the, maybe, okay, I just change this to let's say 12. Okay, B12, and this should be coming from this cell actually, let's say, right? So we should see there good morning as well, right? Make you see that here we have the cell reference. This is WS1 actually. Okay, all right, so I want to close this Excel file and I want to run this. There are a lot of actually similarities between VB and Python. There also we have the cell command. It's actually cells, right? So sometimes we prefer using range command, which goes in the alphabet pattern, uh, A, B, C, D, and if I have to use some numeric numbers to reference to the cell, then I go with the cells command. And same thing is here. This is wonderful. So I open this, and now let's go and see that in the stats too. So there we go. All right. So this is again a new information for you. So we will see that in the upcoming sessions that if we like to use the cell command or we can go and work with the range command. Okay. But you have both the options. So that is a good thing.